Okay, today we're going to add Bokashi waste to an existing worm farm. So this is my worm farm here. It's very important that you keep your worm farm in a place that is away from direct sunlight. So this is a perfect place in my yard. This fence keeps it shaded. It's been a while since I've added waste to it. Also it's a bit dry. The hessian sack's a bit dry, so we need to wet that. And that's the waste. You can see here by looking at the waste, the things that take a long time to break down are avocado, and not just the pips or the seed, it's also even the avocado skin and other things. What's good about a worm farm, you see the bits of things that aren't compostable and you can pull them out. Bits of things that have accidentally got in, the worm's just not going to eat them. So underneath here is all the worm castings. There's a lot of castings. We could almost empty that, but we won't do that today. We could do that in a week's time. So what we're doing today is just adding some more Bokashi waste. So here's my bucket that I've been adding. And very important that you drain the Bokashi juice before you add it. The Bokashi juice is quite acidic. There's no juice in here because the bucket's nearly empty. Now you can see in here the waste, and it's got all that white fluffy fungi. That's a sign it's fermenting, so that's a good sign. That's nothing to be concerned about. Another foreign object that's not compostable. So I'm just going to put all this waste in the worm farm. I'm just going to use my hand. It's actually quite dry, this waste. So when you first introduce Bokashi waste to a worm farm, you just add a small amount. You're changing their diet, don't overload them with too much. This worm farm's been going for 2 years, so I can almost add half a bucket of waste to it, which this is not. This is a lot less than that. But we won't add any more. We'll just see. So you spread it out over the top. Make it up a bit. If you were adding to a worm farm that hadn't ever had Bokashi waste before, I wouldn't add any more than what we're adding here, and maybe even a little bit less, just to see, and then monitor it. You've just got to see how it goes. So now that Bokashi bucket's empty, so that will need to clean out. What I like to do is add a bit of castings on the top. I just take a scoop from here, look at all the worm, and just sort of mix a bit of dirt in with it. I don't know really why I do that, but... And then what's important with the worm farm too is that they're kept moist. Now the sacks that the Bokashi One Mix and the Enzo Pet Starter come in are great for that. And you do want them moist. The best way is to soak them in a bucket of water. And just wring them out a bit. Not too much. You want them to be reasonably moist. And then you just cover it so that the waste and the worms does not dry out. And so we're going to come back here in exactly a week's time and show you what's happening and see the condition, how moist this is. And yeah, so that's it. Then you just make sure you put the lid on tight. And that's adding Bokashi waste to an existing worm farm.